Welcome, I'm Bill Wake. We're here working on a financial planning application, and last week we introduced the notion of the age of somebody. So you might want to start Social Security at 62 or 67. And we put in some user interface, but it wasn't quite working. I did a little work this weekend to kind of try and make it kind of work, because I wanted to share this with my one customer and got some feedback from him. But it's not right, and I undid what I did earlier. All right, I did a couple other things. Let's see. I edited environment. Well, we had previews that we either didn't do or couldn't do because we didn't have the environment variable where we access people. So environment is a way to pass something from a high-level view down to a low-level view without passing it through every view along the way. And it affected previews, so I fixed those. The age selector, I tried initializing onAppear. I'm not sure that was quite working. And I did another thing. We used to have possibilities. We called this project. And I realized, oh, it's just calculating the net worth. So I changed the name to netWorth. And as I do the weekly summary, I find little things like this. In general, actually, I think this might want to become like statistics, for range or something. But right now we just have net worth. Okay, so let's look at AgeSelector. And what we had going on was the AgeSelector was not updating, even though we have an update method, and when the person changes, we call this. When the age changes, we call that. We call it again. Now, the thing I did, it made something weird. I think my partial solution still didn't quite work with changing this. So I don't know, this may be a different kind of problem. If I selected the second entry and set a year, boop, it goes back to Bob. Like, that does not seem right. Well, it's not just doesn't seem right, it's totally wrong. Okay, and then the other thing I did, I think offline, I added a second view to our preview. So date 1, date 2, and we put 2 people in the first one, this age selector. The second one has environment people 2, which is empty. And I think we had put this in before, but I didn't think we had it in the preview. So now you get a preview of what does it look like when there are no people and you can't specify a date. I think I changed the icon to, it might have been a circle before. Okay, so even now, not working as it is, something is funny. Like, I don't know what happens if I save it at this point. Is it going to revert back? Boop. Yeah, so I don't know. Okay. So what's going on here? I think it's something. Okay, well, wait, before I go further, one of the things my brother, my customer, pointed out was the age felt a little awkward since you're probably talking about retirement things. Let's get it a little closer to the retirement age decisions. Okay, so we'll take that little easy one, but let's understand when this happens. Okay, so let's see, did we get that in here? I don't know if we get a runtime when we're just fooling around like this. Oh, start update. Now, interestingly, okay, so something's very odd. It's calling start update, but person is nil. Okay, and the reason is when we come in, it initializes, it's an optional, so it just initializes to nil. And I haven't set it. Now it is set because the picker starts with the people and takes the first one out, first one, second one, and so on. But nothing tied that back here. So something's funny with that. All right, and since it didn't never updates person until you change it once, it never executes this code. Now, what's even weirder there, right? I just changed it and it did not call. It did not call anything. So I'm puzzled because this should have changed person. Like, how's the picker showing something different if it didn't change it? Okay, and so let me change person here. Okay, so we'll change the person. Yeah. Still doesn't. Start update nil. Okay. Oh, this is weird. Change a person. So why is the year changing, but the age changes, but the other doesn't? Do I have an AD in there? I mean, people are identifiable, right? I mean, they are because they got an ID here. Update nil, and this one doesn't update it at all. Okay, this is too weird. All right, well, what I was thinking. Well, first thing, I don't think this is going to affect anything, but let's make an init and let's set person on the way in. Okay, so if well, maybe we can just set it. Person equals people dot first. Okay, no, I think there's an issue here. Yeah. People dot first. Yeah, I'm not liking that either. People first. Okay. That's okay. Okay, so if it's nil, it stays nil. If it's got one, it's got it. Okay, well, that's a theory anyway. Failed to build. Argument passed to call that takes no arguments. Oh, we need a date spec. Equals date spec. I think I have to say dot wrapped. Or no, I have to do the underscore. Okay. Boy, that incorrect arguments thing, ridiculous. Okay, switch must be exhaustive. This is so far away from anything. We changed this days ago. Okay, I don't know what's the problem. Unchanged, add missing cases. Yeah, but you can't because there aren't any. Okay. I think it's away from this. Are you going to work now? Wow, why are you blowing up? Maybe I just had to rebuild. Cannot preview in environment plus objects. Okay, let's take this back out. No, let's leave it in and rebuild. I had thought there was an issue about the environment, like using this in the constructor might be an issue, but well, it's trying. But I'm not clear what's going on here. This thing should trigger unless I've messed up something. Okay. Selection is age, dollar person. For each list, do some text. All right. And tag half size geometry.size. Do I need each one in its own geometry reader? I don't think so. No, it's got to be the same one because they're both splitting that. On change of value, update values. Oh, I'm getting this again. I wonder if that's the error and it just doesn't know how to tell me. Apparently, okay. Yeah, something's wrong with doing it that way. I'm not sure why there's no warning. All right, but what I can do is on Geometry Reader, onAppear, okay, so what I want to do is, so the first time the view shows up, it should say person equals people.first. Okay. Well, start update optional Bob. Okay. Birth changed January 20th. Oh, Bob is 2000. Oh, am I only getting the old or the new? Okay, so that was odd. Start update with this person. Okay, I'm going to clear this and redo it. Okay, so when I appear, people first. Okay, I think that's probably right. I appear, and then Bob gets marked, but date changed to unchanged. Why? Date spec should equal age. Person is not nil. Okay, let's change Annie. Nothing. Verbatim, yeah. Okay, yeah, without localization. So it doesn't need to convert it. But date is weird, yeah. Date changed to unchanged. Like, how the heck? Okay, so date before is unchanged. That I can believe. Does that fit our preview? Yeah. We start off unchanged. But why did date spec not change? I really don't know why that isn't age person. Okay. Let's let some spec equal age of person bang age. Okay, some spec is Bob at 60. Well, let's do this. Some spec. Delete. Date changed to unchanged. Well, I obviously have some fundamental misunderstanding of how bindings work then. I thought if I changed a bound value, it should just change. Is this one not constant? Oh, maybe it's marked. Oh, it is marked state and var. Wow. Now what happens if we change a date? It detects it, but it doesn't do it. I'm... So... Okay, so I'm creating date spec 1. Yeah, update... Well... Yeah, I mean, this thing is trying to change date spec, but it's not happening. So it's like it's read only, but I mean, it is a var and it's marked state. So when it passes through here, we pass $, it should be able to change that. And that makes it a binding. And the binding is this variable. Wow. let's just try and change it some other way. Date spec equals dot month um, does he ever change? Now that didn't trigger anything. Still. Of course I picked 67. 64. Wow. Okay, now the other thing that I was thinking was, at this point, person cannot be nil. Because if people count as nil, as 0 rather, this view never gets shown. So I don't think this can matter. I don't know if it's getting in the way somehow. It's a bit of a stretch. Okay, so I guess I got to do something to make it change, right? Okay, there's Bob at start update. We have Bob. Date before is unchanged. We create some spec and we attempt to change it. It's the same thing. Right now, let's change this. Bob changes to 70. Okay. Well, it's not blowing up, so let's put this here. I think we just need the name. No, we don't need this. Start update Bob unchanged. Some spec is 60 and Bob is date is still unchanged. Well, and then this is not triggering it. That's the weirdest to me. This does. I don't know. Do I have these things? Make sure I got everything as a peer. Okay. Yeah, there's picker with its stuff. On change of age. And that's just a state. Age changing, okay. Do I have anything weird down here? I'm making people, I don't change them. They're just constants. Wow. I mean, I am just floored here. What's going on? Our other selectors select. Where's where's one with a select? Well, month, year, right? Okay, so well, maybe I got to look at the pickers versus those pickers. Month, year view. All right, let's check out how we do the updates here. Update dates back. Oh, that's, well, we're not supporting that view with it. Okay, that's fine. Date spec equals modifier. Well, is that working? Maybe that's, okay, we're gonna go run the real app. And I need to get month year view in here. Well, I don't have id. Maybe I'm hurting myself with that. All right, so this is a stream view. Wait a minute. Well, the age selector. Okay, let's add a person. Well, let's add 2 people. JK is born in 2001. In 2009. Okay. JK and LM. Environment is used to not work with custom objects. Oh. Well, maybe environment may not give you a binding. I know I've seen something about that. But we're not trying to change the people, so there's no nothing there, I don't think. Yeah, there was environment object. Well, I think if I do this, I think it will complain. Yeah. Right. But yeah, this I don't think that's the issue. People, because it's finding them, right? I mean, it's printing the list of them, so that's okay. All right, now, so we're having that same problem. When I change this, it affects that. And I bet if I click create, it's not going to have LM. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Well, there is this. I mean, I can explicitly say these things are identified by their ID, and I'm tagging them with their ID. I don't think we use the tags per se. All right, let's. But what does it mean that I have a binding that does not get changed when I change it? That's just weird, weird. Well, or, you know, Bill has some fundamental misunderstanding. What are the odds? Okay. Changing. Okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this one out. Now, what are you thinking? I mean, I'm thinking person's changing, but it's not changing. This is supposed to be off $person. All right, let's take out this. Huh. Okay. That is not working. Okay. Colors is an array. Selected color is an instance of the array. Picker selection with selected colors at state. For each run through tag to self. I'm going to take the tag out. I don't think it's helping or hurting. Private selection of index. Well, he's got a tag. Also need to use binding. Okay. At state, private var selection. That's what we do. Body, sum view, order selection, knowledge selection. Order picker. Ooh, he's in a form. Could that matter? Well, our real one's in a form. One change of selection, perform, new value. Am I getting the old value? Let me look at one change of. Modifier changes when a specific value changes. Binding to an environment or a binding, yes. May call the action closure or the may, whatever. New version of the closure will be called. Values will have their values from the time that the observed value has the new value. Okay. Well, I think I'm on the right idea, but this is not the problem. Add ID to your picker so it's unique. Really? Well, I don't see why that should matter. What's the style on this one? Get something close to what we had. Yeah, no, I think the thing is it's not calling our method, so we're not really doing anything. Do I have the wrong one? I think this is not helping us. State, oh, put a did set on it. Oh, you need to unchange. Okay. Unchange starting selection. Well, yeah, we can print that. I believe we said that was old new value. Let me add another person. Okay. Yeah, we are getting nothing. Yeah, well, I can do that, but that's not the problem. Picker thinks both persons are the same. It never changes. Otherwise, the update should be called when switching. Well, okay, we know they've got different names. Well, let's put this back. And this guarantees uniqueness, but there's no uniqueness problem, I don't think. Yeah, I already did. So this is like, that's like the simplest thing. All right, let's get a picker example in here and ooh, the selection type does not match the tag. Okay. Uh-huh. Selection is a person, so tag should be a person. Well, it was a good thought. What's wrong with the person state? I don't know. Okay, so their state is the index, and their tag type matches the index type. Okay, so now I do that. I think tag $0 and $0 is person. Let's be explicit here. Oh no, that won't help because I already used person up there, but it's dollar each person for each people. Tag is the person. And we're getting nothing on these changes. Okay. Type of each tag must match the type of the bound variable. Using mismatched type would result in selected color index not getting updated. Okay, well that's reasonable. I mean, person. Well, let's take update values out of the equation. I just want to see the print. People. Do I not specify this here? Maybe. Yeah, that is true. Well, and that's why I was putting that onAppear in. Do I still have that? Because we made sure it was set before we got into the loop. But I'm willing to try it. No. I'm not sure why it's spinning. ID is itself. Okay. Ha! You're right. Wow. Okay, so let's peel back. Wow. Huh. Good call. Well, I don't know why that would worry it, but okay, so now, well, if that works here, it should work over on the app side. Oh, I should have tested these. Oh well. We know what failure looks like. It doesn't change the person one. Okay, so we should get CD53. Yeah, okay. Now let's make sure these preview things are doing what we want. But I'm pretty sure you've caught it. So why? Okay, so changing this should call something. Yes. Okay. Yep. All right. Wow, that's painful. Let's hope I can remember that when it comes time. It's so weird the date spec didn't change, and I still don't get that. Like we called that routine, but date spec just did not change. I don't think this matters. Oh, I took out all my prints. Age changing. Okay. Well, I guess one more run won't hurt. So person who should be initialized to who is in the date spec? Well, it's the reason it was optional is because if you come in with people empty, then well, we're not going to ever use person because we're going to we're going to go in the front half of this if people count as 0. So we won't even let them do anything with that. Oh yeah, I agree that we're not allowing editing, which is probably not right. But I think what we're going to have to do is, I mean, I think there should be an initializer. Maybe that's worth doing. So I think there should be an initializer, and it should detect date spec, and it should write person and age if they're in there already. Is that what you're talking about? Not the date spec. So I think the pat see yeah, it was originally optional because if people is empty, date spec will not change and nobody will ever look at person. Person needs to be the first person on people. Why didn't onAppear work? I think it's something about that. I think it's that optional. Maybe just made it not trigger. I don't know. It was blocking date spec from changing, and maybe it was blocking. No, it wasn't blocking person. Yeah, I really don't know. Although this is not correct. Okay. But I think, the core thing is you're right that apparently I can't use an optional value as the selection, which makes sense in a way because a date picker's got to have somebody to pick over. Yeah, maybe. Oh, that's worth a try. If it really knew that and trusted it. Okay, so I think what we'll see is, I don't think we can tell without our prints in there. But I can add that. There is, okay, so this is failing that way. I don't remember how it works off the top of my head, but it's like you put parentheses after it or something. Well, Paul always has the answer for us. Okay, yeah, lazy. Well, okay, so lazy var, and then the calculation of the current one. Okay. Oh, I really don't know if it'll mix with state. Lazy var person of person. And then we're going to return. No, that's not going to work. Maybe make sure we understand what it is. Specify only when that variable is first requested. If it's never requested. No, I think it gives it doesn't call it after the first time. Is that right? They are created only when the variable is first requested. If it's never. Well, okay, let's try it. All right, so person. Well, I don't know what we're saying they are. Right. I mean, the initialization could be to person.people.people.first, but the value isn't that. I don't think that's gonna do it. Yeah, it's because I can't say people first like I do in the initialization or the onAppear, because it will do that every time it calls the person object, and so it'll reset it. So yeah, I don't think that's going to do it. I don't think this is the worst thing ever. All right, let's make sure it works before I commit this. Oh, that was weird. Oh, we don't deal with this one yet. Is that right? Something is off. April 94. Oh no, that's okay. All right. But somewhere we have it off. Well, yeah. I mean, that's why I wanted the optional there. Or the exclamation was even better. Yeah, but it doesn't like that. I don't know why you can't use optional with a selector. Well, I guess in the sense that you could never get back to nil, right? It comes in, it's got something set. So I don't know. Okay, so let's make sure cell age. Now we set something wrong somewhere. BB43. Okay, that's okay. But we had, oh, maybe it was in our calculations. All right, let's make sure tests run. Oh, take out that print. Yeah, I mean, I would rather not have to specify a person there. But yeah, I don't think lazy's going to do it. I don't know if I could shadow something with a optional field, maybe. But that seems just as confusing to me as this unknown person. And it is kind of, I don't like these, even how it was before, you know, what I did was I made an argument like, oh, because this, you know, down here checks for empty and we'll never call this view. Therefore, this view is the only one that does updates, and therefore it's safe to be nil. You know, that arguing your way through is not a good sign either. All right, so age specifier now selects any person. It wouldn't work. Didn't work when our selection value was optional. Okay, so stage all and commit. All right, now, I mean, that was a painful half hour, 45 minutes. Can you pass the person from people so the age selector is an argument? Yeah, we can try that. So we're saying this will take a person. Am I gonna screw myself up? Probably. Goes to some view. Ugh. Okay. Okay, we know that's legal because of this. I don't know this. I'm gonna add that refactoring. All right. All right. So we're saying let's make person equals first person. No, that still doesn't help us. Because if it's initialized, it's got to be initialized by the whole object, not by one piece. The only, I don't want to do it. The other way would be to say, well, this could be its own view, and then you have content unavailable view, or age actually exists view or something. I'm gonna pass because it would work to pass it, but we would boom. We'd either have to be, we'd still have to initialize it. I'm busy here. I'm sure that's why it always gets. Okay, so I'm gonna say that's okay. The part that's not okay though is possibilities. No, scenario. Somewhere we saw calculations that depended on no stream. Age. Well, that's doing that. That's doing that. That's okay. Where was that? age. No, maybe it was. I mean, the stream calculations seem like the one that would be the. I thought we saw a case with dot edge age that was empty. There's first. Oh, maybe I saw that. That should be unchanged. Okay. Right. Okay. So I think this is done. Right. Okay. So person.birthYear required. Well, that's an easy. I say that. I probably should know better. All right, let's find person. What I want to do is get to persistence and get going there. There's a break in the age in the case. Oh, which one? Unchanged. That one's okay. Scenario doesn't do anything on it. There's not that many people doing that age, right? That's the comparison. That's got action. That's got action. Just date specific. Month and age return using. These are tests, so I'm not seeing it. Unless we, well, I'm just going to break it so we can try and find it just to make sure. That's forcing it. That checks it. That checks it, and that checks it. Okay, I think we're okay. Okay. Person has right now birth year is optional. Maybe it was an old file. Yeah, I mean, I thought I saw it like first thing today and didn't quite register, but I don't see it now, and it seemed like it was in the stream. Oh, maybe it's the stream calculations. Could that be? Let's. I looked. No, we've seen that working. I think it's probably okay. Let's give ourselves some money that we can only use from age 62 to 67 or something like that. Oh, that's back. Well, let's make them born early enough we can get in range here. Let's see, if they're 60, 1960, they'd be 64 right now. Okay, so we'll be able to see it. Create. And then we'll add a stream. So let's say 67, 70, 70 to 80. Oh, I did another thing. I don't know if I said that. I gave everybody the same height. So unchanged used to be really skinny, and then you'd click month, year, or age, and it would get big. Okay, so let's make them go from 70 to 80. Yeah. Okay, so that's doing the right thing. It's a limited time. 2030-ish. Yeah, 2030 to 2040. That looks right. Okay, good news. Okay, so birth. So right now when you go in, you're going to choose it, I think. Let's make this non-optional. It's going to break some tests. It'll break 2 places, maybe 3 places in here. Okay, right. So birth equals Person.birth. Is that right? Right, so we won't need this, but we'll use Person.birth here. And here. And this is when we create a person, we don't validate that. That seems a little funny. I don't know why he's... Oh, that complaint went away. Okay. Okay, so we create the person. Yeah, they can't escape. Well, no, we may not enforce it, Jane. Yeah, I guess we do. Okay. So, yeah. All right. Default year higher. This was that comment from my brother. Where does that show up though? Yeah, it must be this. So this is the month year view. We had it open. $19.20 seems pretty. Sorry, year starts at that. And they don't find it. Okay, we know date specifier, yeah. Yeah, that's our default. We'll just change this. Yeah, okay. Just minor. All right, now I wanted to, after discussion, basically his conclusion, my brother, my customer, his conclusion was persistence would help him faster than editing, which surprised me. But his thought is he can start entering his stuff and he knows he won't lose it. If he makes a mistake, well, in a week we'll be editing and it's fine. But if he had editing first, he could enter all his stuff, but then when he updates, he's going to lose stuff. And, every time he, restarts his iPad or whatever, it's going to lose stuff. So that sort of says, no, that's not going to work. If you thought we were floundering earlier, I think we're really going to go nuts now. So I have notes on Swift data. I think I did a tiny app with it, one of the hacking with Swift exercises. But basically, let's see if I can find that. Those notes. Okay, this is my substitute for Evernote is Joplin. All right, so what you're going to do is basically you tag a class as @model. It's like observable, and in effect, everything is still observable. It works with the bindable and all that stuff. It's basically using the same mechanism. But to use this, you have to modify your app and add a model container that holds the class you're going to make be a model. If you do this, then all your previews also need to contain a model container. Kind of like when we had the environment variable, I had to go through and add that to all the views, the previews. This would be kind of the same thing. I don't know if we can maybe make a little helper function or something for it, but notice this is stored in memory only. So it's just for use by tests. Any unit tests that use the model objects are going to have the same problem. So it's kind of annoying. No, normally my advice is, keep your data, your database and your code shouldn't be overlapping. Now, lots of people use, database integration things that do that built into Java or whatever. But it does create problems, and this is one of them. Now all these unit tests that use model objects, which are just normal objects in your domain, are going to be tied to a database for testing, which is going to slow testing down. Now, an in-memory test is going to be faster, but still, it's a hassle and it's slower. So it's not really a big win in that sense. But you do get stuff for free with it. I mean, you have to do a little bit of tying together. There may be cases where you need to say something's related, but usually it'll derive that on its own and build up the model on its own. I don't know. We'll see. But I think our first step is put the model in, figure out where the model should go. All right, now make sure I checked in. No, I did not. Okay. Make birth year required and change starting year to later. Okay. There. All right. So I'm not clear, like, should I just be doing this to anybody who says they're observable? Right. So we'll say model and then, okay, so we have to import Swift data. Init wrapped value is unavailable. Findable possibility. Whoop. That one's okay. That one's okay, but is this one okay? I think am I going back and forth? Plain list view. Yeah. Okay, so well, so far kind of so good. Let's try a run. Hopefully this, okay, this is more kind of the problems I was expecting. Start month. Okay. Initial value. Now, I don't know why. Method instance method called set value. But backing data is data node type. Well, I don't know what that means. Underscore start month. Well, okay, maybe what's month year equatable. It's a simple struct. I don't think that should be a problem. All right, I've seen a lost connection on my side, hopefully. Do you need to use set string, set int, etc.? I don't know. I mean, this is set value start month, right? That seems fine. I don't. No exact matches to instance value set value. Now, what I do know is this stuff is all like macros and mixed up stuff. You know, and so the consequence is like we're not seeing our code here. This is all their generated code. And what that means is because, well, it's showing up inside generated code. We didn't write that code. Like, what are we supposed to do about it? You know, I mean, /.start month should get to this, but they're managing it as backing data, and it's like it doesn't understand. But what else can happen to you is it may be that is fine, and the problem is Maybe some other class should be marked, you know, as model. Now we got this. Okay, yeah, so we don't get the error until we actually ask any PlanTree cannot conform to a persistent. Okay, now that I can believe because our PlanTree, right, those are all observable. All right, so we'll dig the hole a little deeper. And I would assume they all three have to be changed, or both of them, rather. Entry should be, I mean, it's a subclass, so you would think it would be a known attribute model. Okay, I got to import Swift data. Now, we're not even to the point just saying like, hey, I bet all your test classes are broken. Okay, those are spurious. PlanTree cannot conform to persistence model. All right, so I may go into another rabbit hole here. Okay, trying to stand up a persistence container. Set model container on content view. Yeah, I haven't done that. All the variables conform to codable. Okay, so that suggests that that's part of it. Let's do this model container thing. Ooh, I don't know, the array there looks suspicious to me, but open app. All structs classes should be persisted. Now I think structs, like they can have their codable if all their fields are either primitives or structs formed from primitives, they sort of get the codable and writable stuff for free. So I don't think we have to tag structs per se, because they're in effect they are value types, and it's just it's going to store those values. But classes that are observable definitely, and classes that if they contain stuff that's not part of our observable stuff, but it's still a class, then there's probably something going on there. Where's my Joplin? Model container 4 : whatever dot self. Okay. So for possibilities dot self. All right, now we're getting this guy complaining. Type any PlanTree. Oh, let's get that. It won't know PlanTree, but maybe. All right, that sounds like us. Okay, so he's got a protocol. That's definitely like us. And I don't think you can tag it on the protocol because you can't have constructors on them. Okay, so he tags his two things as model and whatever. You can't have a model that's an array of a protocol. It can't be mapped to a database design. Wow. Any car. You can't have a relationship collection in a model that's an array of protocol. Well, I don't know if, I guess we do, right? That's what possibilities is. Okay, I'm going to get these two pulled. closer, close some tabs. Okay, so possibilities is an array of PlanTree, which is an array of protocol. Well, that's conceivably doing all this. All right, well, we're due for a break. So let's take our break. We'll come back. We'll turn this into a class and see what we get. All right, see you in 3 or 4 minutes. Welcome back. Okay, I did a little research. I found this great page from Paul Hudson, Common Errors and Their Solutions. And it saves us from, well, first it has the error we had. Type, array element, your model type does not conform to protocol persistence model. It occurs if you're using something not marked with model, like our protocol. Okay, and then I'm confused. I'm not moored, but I don't have unmoored backing data. This error message appears if you subclass a model. It was acceptable in core data. It's a very bad idea in Swift data. So we can't subclass our Swift data models. All right, so that saves us from one end of it. Now, somebody had a solution, a workaround, and basically what they do is instead of protocol, they're doing an enum, and then they declare cases for each one of what would be a subclass. It makes the enum painful. Can I go from inheriting from a base model class? No, that's not going to work according to this other thing. Okay, so we are in for some refactoring. How much? I don't know. And they're not really inheriting much. I don't know. It's going to make an ugly solution, all right. Any function, any shared function is going to have to work with the enum, which means a bunch of switch statements. Yeah, like that. But it doesn't scale well because every new conformer. Well, we're not planning to grow our trees too much, I don't think. We've got leaf, leaf with a stream and or right now. So let's turn this part off. I want to get back to clean runs, make the design conform to what we think that needs to be. And to do that, we'll just refactor around until we get there. Okay, so let's make sure this passes tests. Huh, now that didn't complain before. All right. It should have. Okay, let's clean this out. Oh, come on. What's your problem? Oh, those models were observables. Oops. Yeah, what's a little weird is like these normally macros are pound sign something, but they've embedded them in these property looking things. Um, PlanTree. That was the only two. Build failed before I got going. Just kidding. Oh, that test can go away. Test done expired by age of birth date unknown. Yeah, I just flat out didn't run those tests. Oh, two failures. Okay. All right. So what I plan to do, I think I will create the enum. I don't think anybody's just used plain old plan yet. Let's use that. Okay. So I'll create the enum and kind of make a true, what I call a parallel change, start migrating stuff into it, kind of ready to go. And then I'll switch PlanTree. I'll switch the name to PlanTree and hide the protocol and see if we've got everything close. Okay, but what we're going to do then is we're going to have a leaf. Well, I think this is really, I think this should really be plan stream, because we're going to have another one that's plan pool that's kind of similar. So that's the one expansion I expect. No, not the one, but one of the ones. We talked about we'll have pool, which can be asset or liability. I've also been thinking about the notion of a variable and that you can define a controllable quantity of some sort, but that's, I think that's all I'm planning for expanding. But most of the stuff that happens will be in that enum anyway, so I think it's okay. All right, rename, come on. Just trying to see where people have used variables that might rely on it. Like that one. PlanTree view. And so this problem, to me, it's like this is a casualty of not having that split between the persistence model and the internal model. And now we're modifying our internal model. I think objectively we'll say it's becoming slightly clunkier and worse to accommodate the persistence model. But that's where we are. Okay, so, well, at least I can just, the names here don't have to have too much else. Okay, so stream. Well, it really just has this. Should I make it? Now, can we use variables in an enum? I keep thinking I can, and then it doesn't work. It's such a natural thing to do. You can only use these as the raw value. Yeah, no, I don't like that one. Struct for the two cases, yuck. Yeah, we can have functions, but we don't get variables out of that. So the reason I want this is they all have an ID. These other ones really are kind of functions. Children append. Yeah, see, they're even here, they're kind of giving you that, but hey, the rept. Thanks for joining. So we are developing an app that's kind of designed to track your finances over several years with, well, right now we have streams of income or streams of expenses. You can tie them to particular dates, or you can tie them to like ages, like Social Security. You can start 67 or 62 or whatever. And we have graphs and other stuff for it, but we don't have persistence. So every time you run the thing, you have to re-enter all your data. And we're trying to modify our design, which was we have a composite kind of a recursive structure that basically built these trees of plans. And as we did persistence, we found stuff that said, hey, you can't use protocols. You can't have an array of protocols. The best solutions seem to be an array of streams. I mean, an array of enums. And so we're trying to modify our design to that. Okay. If anything else I can go into will make sense, feel free to ask. But we have basically, we're going to take what would be, well, if this, we talked about making this a parent class, but it also does, Swift Data doesn't handle inheritance either. So the children of this, or the implementers of this protocol, we have a stream and we have a composite, which has two children that we're going to have to probably fold into separate cases. unfortunately, but that's okay. And so we're trying to get this one in place, and I'm trying to find variables, put variables in my enum, and it doesn't look like I can. Let's see if maybe a later version of Swift is taken over and allows it. Enums must not contain stored properties. Okay, I guess that's an answer. All right, so we'll give this a UUID and a stream, and then design these protocols. Well, each one's going to have to be in there. So let's do them. All right, and I'm just going to take one and go for it. Okay, so I'll just use caselet stream of ID and stream equals self. Okay. Return ID. Guess we don't need the stream for that. Missing return. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Okay, let's just go to a switch right away. Because the switch knows it's exhaustive, so it doesn't have that spurious error. Okay, but that's okay. Well, that's the way it's going to go. All right, name is stream.name. And unfortunately, all of these get just as ugly. I don't know if it's going to become unbearable. All right, children. We don't need a case for that yet. So null, this doesn't really support children. It doesn't make sense to add them to a leaf, so we're not. Okay. And then scenarios, given an original, yep. No name or no ID and stream original.add. Okay, so let's build this. Oh, crackle. And a subscriber, The Wrapped. Thank you. that built. I'm just going to move this over to the same structure. Build that. Now, I don't know if I can in plan. Okay. I'm not sure how. How much there is. Here's making a leaf. That's really one function. Okay. I think what we'll do, I'm going to rename this one. No, I'm just going to make it. Nobody references the name. Okay, so we're going to import. Apparently you can mix and match in the file. We'll do that. Struct a PlanTree. Let's make sure that's okay. More or less. Okay, good. Let's find one that's the new style. Is this one? No. Possibilities? Oh, anything else? Okay. Yeah, so we just have to use @test on the function and #expect for what we expect from it. A PlanTree. Okay. So I'm going to take this same function, test makes a leaf, and we'll modify it into the new style. Okay, so I don't have to say test. A PlanTree makes a list. That sounds good. Okay, but I say test here. We don't have make leaf yet, but this is going to be #expect. And then we just do this, and if it differs, then it detects it. Okay, and then make leaf. Okay, returns a stream and then wraps it in PlanStream. Okay. Now, I don't see anybody else. Oh, they are calling make leaf. Okay, never mind. Right. Okay, so if we run, well, I'm going to make something fail on purpose. Okay, but I can't tell. Well, can I tell? I can only tell if it fails. But we should see a failure for this. It's children always returns nil, and we're saying it doesn't. And you get to see, I mean, it makes a nice, it tears it apart a little bit and says, oh, set.children is not nil. And its value is nil. Okay, and we assert it was not nil. And then in here somewhere, there's a little more. Well, Yeah, same thing, just kind of test by test what went on. It's only partly integrated into Xcode, so that's why it's like that. Okay, so good. Um, okay, so that one's good. Yeah, these just get, it's going to be pretty ugly. There is some similarity. Wow, they have an ID, they have a name, and they're going to have children. And the difference is, okay. All right, so we got case stream. Now let's add case, I got to say, and tree and plan. And is a reserved word, I think. Maybe not. Well, he's got a UUID because everybody has that. And then he needs a name. What else? And that's all. He's got to have children. Okay, I guess this is children is array of PlanTree colon. String and array of plan question mark. Oh, and he's not hating and. Okay, so no, as far as I know, there's no way to do stream across all these variables and pick them up like that. So it's going to be duplicated. Wrong link for. Oops. Return name. Okay, so I don't see why that's ambiguous. Okay, let's go to append for composite. I guess I called this my children before. Maybe that's just for consistency. I think children's running into the accessor here, so that's why. Now use a mutating function. Cannot assign to value. Why is that ambiguous? Oh, this should be plan. Cannot assign to value. Okay, I guess I need to know how to write a mutating function. Do it in a struct, huh? Oh, golly. Return a new instance. Yeah, maybe. Sorry, let me see if there was any more. No, that was another question. Oh, we can do self equals. Okay. And this goes back to a break. I think that's better because it doesn't change the interface we already have as much. All right. This is plan. I guess. Oh, there's probably an append. Oops. Well, maybe plus is the right way. Other sequence of a sequence. Yeah. Okay, I shouldn't get too hung up, I guess. It'll work. All right. And then scenarios. Well, let's see what scenarios did. He references children. And that's about it. Okay, and then this. Ugh, look at all that. Return scenarios. Scenarios. Well, this was called original here. I don't see the oh, and. Okay, so let's build. I think it probably should build with what we've done so far. And then we'll modify these scenarios. Did I leave some junk? Yeah. Okay. All right, so we have make leaf. We don't have make stream. Okay, we do add that. Okay. Make and tree, that definitely is something we'll do for these tests. Children array of plan goes to, oof. Well, I think it's going to go to plan. Result is UID, name, and nil. I should mark this indirect. Well, actually, if children is already an array of plan, then we don't need to do anything else, I think. Okay. Makes a composite. This has all ands. It's not pretty. I don't know. Well, we can back out if we just hate it too much. I do think we will be able to simplify this as we get into it a bit. Sorry, the scenarios in particular, I think is basically the same. Wow, is that true? Oh no, they're not, are they? One was, yeah, they're just different. I mean, we can certainly, well, maybe it's not, I don't know. I think it seems to be coming together. I'm trying to think other design alternatives. I guess the thing we could do, like we could turn this into a struct. The big thing is it's got a string, but we would have to give it the union of the types, right? We give it a stream that the composite nodes wouldn't use. And string is okay because we could pass stream.name in, and then the plans won't be used by this case. Then convention to do it, but we have to distinguish. We would probably have to have a type that told us whether it was and or maybe stream, I guess. And then we'd still end up with switch statements on this stuff. But let's push through on this one, see what we think, and then we can go to a struct if we think that's better. All right. I think we're half done ish. Okay, so we build leaves, and this is make and tree. He's returning a plan. Okay. Cannot convert plan stream to expected type array of plan. Plan, what are you? Plan stream to expected type array of plan. Make entry takes an array of, oh, wait a minute. Plan stream, no, that's not right. We got kind of a half test here. Okay. Plan.stream of that. Yeah. Okay, let's run this. Well, let's get them both together. We only got a minute. All right, so make a test. A PlanTree makes a composite. That reads nicely. Make leaf is now trees, so that goes good. I think what we're trying to do now is convert PlanTree to plan enum. Okay. Well, I mean, that's kind of what persistence does, right? Is writes it codable and does all that. I don't know what does JSON conversion handle nested, I mean, subclasses and stuff. I don't know. Well, I think given what this required, it's not too bad so far. And we're adding one more node for now. I guess, yeah, we're still in the middle of these tests. Well, I think we'll push through on this. Maybe we can extract this function would help a little bit, and because there's another function similar size. Get this converted over to the plan. I don't know, maybe make that struct at that point and just see which one we like better. These things are not huge, right? I mean, you might conceivably have 50 things to manage. You're not going to have thousands. And so even if it's all structs all the way down, you're throwing away a little bit of stuff, but it's just not that much relative to anything relative to one IO. Yeah, so I think we'll finish plan as we're on track to. Then we'll try creating a struct that represents all three types together. I don't know, that's still going to have an enum, right? It's going to have to know which one it has. So I don't know. We'll try it. I think, well, it's like ugly or not, this one won't work, so we know we have to get away from that. This one, I think, seems to be okay because UUID is a concrete type. This is built from concrete types. Same here, and this is recursive. So this enum can be saved. It knows what to do with that. All right. So tomorrow we'll move those other tests over and add the OR node. See what we think. Sketch out the struct of a recursive composite with all types in one thing, and an enum to tell you what to do for each one. But I don't know, is that going to be better? I guess this will fold into one case. This we can kind of fold into one case depending how we build it. If we make you tell us the stream name when you want the stream. This one is okay because it'll just be empty. It'll be what it is. We won't create children for the stream case. Append and ignore probably behave the same. It might be nicer. This function will be different for each one, but we'll sketch it out and then try the other one. I guess we'll try it and then we'll see which one we want to integrate in, and see if the model stuff will work with that. I mean, we're stretching out pretty far on this, but we can get back. I think let me commit this one. partially introduce plan, the enum version of PlanTree. Yeah, that's true enough. It's a parallel change. And I probably should say that. Okay. All right. Well, we'll see. I mean, persistence is a pretty big change, really, and having to do some design changes too is disappointing, but it's not impossible. It'll take another hour, I hope. All right. Well, see you tomorrow, 2 to 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 to 8:30 p.m. UTC. Thanks for joining today, Mudshark and the Wrapped. Take care.